All of our bounce back stocks are up big since we started talking about the roaring 2020s, which, by the way, was 11 months ago to the day. We did a show called The Roaring 2020s on April 9th, 2020. And in that show, we said that once we had a vaccine, the world would rush back. We had a bunch of stocks in mind: hotels, casinos, airlines. We were buying Wynn Casino in the 40s and 50s. That stock now trading over $130 a share. On November 9th, Pfizer announcing that their vaccine was more than 90% effective. That was the signal that we were waiting for. Not only did we have a viable vaccine, but it was far more effective than anyone was expecting. The markets were already at record highs that day. We bought $12 million more of bounce back stocks: hotels, airlines, cruise lines, casinos. I was tracking the trades that I made that day, and even after the recent pullback, correction, crash, whatever you want to call it, the rebound stocks that I bought that day are still up 49% since November 9th. That's 4 months, 49%. So now what? With stocks like Wynn fighting its way back to pre-pandemic prices, and Marriott right back to where they were before the world stopped traveling, and even some stocks like Expedia now more than 10% above their all-time highs, is there still room for a bounce to continue? Today on Dumb Money, we are looking for undiscovered recovery trades, and we're going to reveal our new #1 trade in the Roaring 2020s. We are Dumb Money.
Three friends who turned $30,000 into $30 million using nothing more than Twitter and a zero commission trading account.
The suits that work on Wall Street, they call those people the smart money. That's not us.
Our goal is to help level the playing field for everyday investors.
We are Dumb Money.
Hey there, Dave here, along with Chris and Jordan. We are Dumb Money. Welcome to Dumb Money Live. Before we dive into those bounce back trades, we do need to get that like count to bounce even higher. Take 2 seconds, find the like button, destroy it. It helps get this video out to more people. Chris, Jordan, reality check time. The market, absolutely brutal the last couple of weeks, really month long, especially if your portfolio looks anything like mine with a ton of Tesla, Amazon, Apple. I'm up big today, but I'm still down more than $1 million. What about you guys?
Oh gosh, I would do anything to only be down $1 million, Dave. I was almost down 10 over the past few weeks. It has been torturous, but I was mentally prepared for it. I want to be really clear here. What we do with leverage is something that is a personal decision. We've been working with leverage for many, many years, if not decades. It worked for us the past, 6-7 months. It worked against us the last couple weeks. When I say us, mostly me. It worked against me the last couple weeks, but that's okay. I brought my leverage down from like 100% to 25%. Now it's up to like 30, just above 30%. It's been a rough couple weeks, but fortunately we had some really good trades over the last couple weeks that have kind of helped with the damage, and now my account is already back. Oh, gosh, I don't know. I probably cut those losses in half since the worst part of that market crash, and today is helping a lot. But Dave, this is a trade. The Roaring 2020s is a trade that we talked about before anyone else in the world. Nobody used that word. Nobody was saying this in April 2020. Nobody but us. We were preaching the Roaring 2020s in April of last year, and
we've been saying the whole time it's all about having a prepared mind, and you have to be ready when things happen. You knew, at the time, and Jordan, mute when you're doing that.
Yeah, is my mic messed up or something?
Just mute when you're moving around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Try that. We'll see if that. You're gonna just do this the whole time.
You're doing.
You're
killing me. And I'm sure everyone at home is just hit delete on YouTube. No, but it's about having a prepared mind, and we had prepared for the vaccine announcement, right? And at the time, I went back and watched some of that yesterday just to kind of see what we were saying. And we were like, well, we don't know for sure. We had like an 85% chance that there would be an effective vaccine, and we were prepared. And so when Pfizer said not only did our vaccine work, but instead of being 50, 60% effective, it's 90% effective, that first announcement, and then 95 or whatever, we knew this is it. This is the time to pounce. And I feel like a lot of the stocks that we bought have already done their thing. I know, Jordan, we were talking a minute ago about how you're in Southwest Airlines, and that has, gotten back almost to the pre-pandemic levels.
Right, my bounce backs looked a little bit different than yours, but they've all done, I think, probably equally well. I think Love, I've doubled. City, I've doubled. XLE, I've probably up 60% in, and so I mean, it's just when do these things have they gone too far? I think is the question, right?
Well,
because
guys,
we're not fully back yet. We're not at a point where we've got full travel, but yet these airlines look fully valued from where they were, a year and a half ago.
it's about confidence intervals of where we're headed. Like when you get to a 90-95% confidence interval that we're headed to this point, I don't care if it's in 2 months or in a year and 2 months. It really doesn't matter. If there's surety that we're going from here to here, the market will price in here right this second every single time. And we said that this would be the easiest trade of our lifetime. Remember that? I think we were quoted saying, this will be the easiest trade of our lifetime. That's why I was like, let's just go in 12 million. We got in a little early when we went in big, and I had to pull some of it off the table, and I've been slowly kind of getting more into it over the past 5 months. But guys, like Cheesecake Factory, one of my big ones, it's trading higher than it was a year ago, right? Higher.
Yes.
When you account for the dilution in some of these stocks
And that's
are
what we need
heavily
to talk about, though. Is Cheesecake Factory, as an example, is that a stock that should potentially even go higher than that?
Well, I'll tell you why I'm not selling Cheesecake Factory. I'm not selling Cheesecake Factory yet. Because I believe, and I own a restaurant. For those who don't know, we're in the restaurant business. Restaurant business is starting to really boom here in Texas, and I assume it will be that way around the country very shortly. Cheesecake Factory is a company that is in a position to take advantage of the weakness. So when you have 20 to 25% of all restaurants closing down, the restaurants that are remaining when we come out of that bad period and into a boom period are not going to do as well as they did before. They're going to do way better than they did before. So it actually is, to me, the dream set. By the way, I'm talking here, I'm not a financial advisor, guys. I'm talking about my thoughts about my portfolio. Do not replicate our trades. Do not take this as advice. Your risk is different than our risk, okay? But for me, I believe that the Cheesecake Factory is ideally positioned to take advantage of this. And by the way, when we hear Cheesecake Factory, it's not just Cheesecake Factory. They've done some major acquisitions. They have numerous brands that they are preparing to expand around the country. And so they are just like, I think, ideally suited to be the beneficiary of this boom with less restaurants and cheaper real estate to expand right now. And that's why I believe Cheesecake Factory can run higher than most people would imagine, kind of like Live Nation, Dave. Live Nation was another one of our big ones. That's trading higher. Why? Because there's a thought that, okay, they pulled down expenses, they tried to manage through this period, and now they're going to go on a 2 or 3 year boom when they could charge premium rates. They can get better deals with all of their talent, right? They could bully everyone around because they're basically, monopoly, duopoly, right? And so they can bully all the artists, they can bully all the customers, they can squeeze concerts on Tuesday nights and Wednesday afternoons, like whenever they want the next, maybe not this year, but 2022, maybe later this year, 2022, 2023. And so you have a company that I don't know what they should be valued at, but we know that there's only going to be good news coming for the next year, right? So people are okay kind of with the downside risk because they don't believe there is any. The question is that this work is getting harder. The rebound trade is getting harder. The Roaring 2020 trade, it was so easy for us last time, right? We bought all the travel, all the food, all the events, anything related to partying, anything related to coming out. Now you have to dig in deeper. Now you have to get smarter. Now it gets a little bit riskier. It's not the easiest trade in the world anymore, right? Now this is a whole different ball game. So that's what today's episode is about. Is there still opportunity in the Roaring 2020s trade for us? And guys, poke holes in our thesis today. Get on Discord, dumbmoney.tv. Tell us where we're wrong. Tell us where we're right. Add to the conversation. Do your own research. Collaborate. And ultimately, everyone has to make their own decisions with your financial advisors or not, whatever your setup is at home. I want to talk about one stock, and it's not the stock you're thinking of, Dave, but there's another one. It's not my big number one recovery stock, but it is a stock that I find intriguing. And I don't know. think I still own some from a while back, but I haven't added more. And it's Cedar Fair, right? So
Oh, yeah.
Cedar, when I'm thinking
that
about
ticker
the
fun?
recovery trade, I'm thinking about, okay, you can't really travel that easily internationally, even flying around the country. I have a feeling that rates are going to get pretty high pretty soon, and not everyone's comfortable with just hopping on a plane right now, right? But there are a ton of people that are comfortable with. It's about time to go have a good time with our friends. It's time to do the things that we couldn't do last year, right? And so when you look at a company like Cedar Fair, they are not trading above their all-time highs, which is really interesting because, and I'm just going to do something here.
Are you just buying some shares real quick?
No, well, hold on. No,
So I'm just looking here, just historically going back to the beginning of their, life. They
I
had this
did. I
little
bought
run up.
5,000 shares. I bought 5,000 shares.
That's what I thought you were
I
doing.
didn't want to, but Dave, I mean, here's the thing.
That's fine. You can buy 5,000 shares. Just me and Jordan didn't have an opportunity to front run you.
That's why I'm not going to give you the opportunity. I'm just
We've
going to buy
had the
my shares.
opportunity. We've been, fun is in my list. I haven't pulled the trigger on that one because I didn't like it as much as some of the other things, but it's a decent play. I'm just curious if we're able to go back to 100% park openings this summer.
You're not.
I mean, it's close,
Jordan.
right? I mean, we're talking about, general availability in vaccines by maybe May, right?
So Jordan, here's the thing, though.
Like
They
50% this year, or like 60%.
They do
I think
most
that we're
of the
pricing
revenue
for the
in Q3.
future, though, because it may not be this summer that,
Right.
that Cedar Fair sees the jump, or Six Flags, but we know it's actually going to happen now. We know that we've actually seen millions of doses of vaccine being distributed, and I did see a study that Airbnb actually put out, just talking about who's ready to travel, and they said that the more than half of their respondents were either have already booked, currently planning to travel, or expect to travel this year in 2021. So 57% of 18 to 29-year-olds, 60% of 30 to 49-year-olds, 56% prefer domestic local travel, and just 21% want to go somewhere internationally. So I think that Cedar Fair is actually a pretty good call.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Dave. They do most of the revenue in Q3, right? So, like, it's not so important that people can travel, Jordan, like in the next 60 days, or go to these parks in the next 60 days. It's more important that the parks start to open up in a bigger way come like July. All right, so like July, August, those are the big monster months for Cedar Fair and Six Flags. Six Flags is another. What the market doesn't love about Cedar Fair is there still is technically uncertainty because it hasn't happened yet. Like, what if they don't open the parks? But I feel like from a social arb, perspective, that it's a near guarantee that they're going to open up at least 50 to 75% by July. Also, what the market doesn't love is that Cedar Fair took, I think, 1.8 million, or they took all of their 2020 season passes, and they extended those season passes to 2021. So if you bought a season pass last year, you get to use that this year. So that's 1.8 million people, season passes, that are not going to be sold this year that ordinarily would get sold this year. So that's a monstrously big hit to revenue in 2021.
Look, it's a revenue hit, but
going
it's
to
a
get.
goodwill. It's huge on goodwill, because that means you have 1 point whatever million people that will be going in and buying concessions and things like that, and telling all their friends, like, look, they didn't mess me over when they could have.
So, Jordan, do you know what I would do if I were Cedar Fair? This is going to seem a little evil. But so you have these 1.8 million season passes, right? And you're basically getting a freebie. And when you're giving that freebie out, what does that mean? Everybody's happy, no one's complaining. They're not like coming to the park worried about if they pay $5 for a hot dog or $6.50. What
Right.
I would do if I were Cedar Fair's, I would raise the concessions prices this summer, right? Because you have all these freebies coming into the park. You'll make your money up a little bit on, like you're saying, on higher concession margins. I wonder if they do that. I wonder if they take advantage of them, because you're getting in for free. By the way, they've already came out and said, I think it was Six Flags, or maybe Six Flags, or maybe might have been Cedar Fair, came out and said that they had obviously a lot less people in their park when those that did open up, but people, oh no, SeaWorld, I think, maybe it was SeaWorld, but they were spending more money per person, right? Why? Stimmy, and that's coming more stimmy, all right? So people have more cash in their pocket, some do, right? And also add to that the free pass this year. I think they could work around it and figure out a way to generate revenue. And by the way, the market on a company like Cedar Fair is already probably thinking about 2022, which is going to be just an insane year for Cedar Fair, right? So this isn't like a 6-month thing. This is like maybe a 2-year plus run on the amusement parks. So I really like Cedar Fair. I think for me, it's one of the few that, they're still they're not back up there. I think the market is still a little hesitant. There's still a little negative news baked in with those season passes. So I think there's still opportunity because they're not one of the front runners in the recovery space for those reasons.
Yeah, and we're seeing that both those, Six Flags and Cedar Fair are basically trading as if they're the same company. It's all the thought of what's going to happen when parks reopen.
Yeah, Dave, I wonder if and I don't know if this is true, but we always think about the international travel, right? And so, which of those two parks are more impacted by a hit to international tourists coming to America? Like, I think probably they'd be more likely to go to Six Flags than Cedar Fair properties, right? Because they're bigger, more event-driven properties, right?
I mean, I don't even know what a Cedar Fair property is. It's
not, Knott's Berry Farm, I think, is Cedar Fair, and that's pretty huge out in California, right? So they have some big parks. But they have regional parks around the country that anything that's not a Six Flags. I mean, Cedar Fair is like the biggest operator in theme parks outside of Disney, Universal, and Six Flags.
Yeah, I just think we're biased to Six Flags because we've got one so close, or actually two, right? We've got two in the state.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, Cedar Fair is I think they're just really, if they're smart, and we have so much stimmy money out there, they are going to juice that concessions revenue, and they're going to really go. I hope they're smart about this. Not that I want them taking advantage of people, but listen, there's a lot of freebies getting in the park. There's a lot of stimmy money. Hey, it is what it is. Like if they should be smart about it. I think people will forgive them. The fact is they didn't make any revenue hardly last year, and this is their opportunity to make it up, right? So I even said to someone, so there are ski tickets, right? I was on an email thread with some friends that were saying that, their tickets to ski this spring break, it's higher than it's ever been. They are really goosing them at the ski slopes. Like the hotels are, the resorts are, the mountains are with the lift tickets. Like you're just getting killed everywhere. We were already talking about
that long ago because that is a socially distanced activity. You're wearing goggles, you're wearing a mask. You can do that even in the height of a pandemic if you can get to the mountain.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is your lift line, right? I mean, have you seen the pictures of some of the lift lines at Vail Resorts? I mean, it gets pretty dense. Right?
And Jordan, also that cold temperature, the virus lives beautifully in that cold temp, right? So
right. Well, that was the theory that we all, thought is that, more humid air, things have a tougher time passing through humid air than they have passing through dry air, right?
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is I think a lot of the travel and a lot of the hospitality and kind of the food and beverage and the concert, like all Live Nation, all the above, right? I think they're going to use this as an excuse to say, hey, we didn't make any money for a year. You got stimmy in your pocket. Forgive us if we increase the prices of everything you do once you're inside of our event by 20%. Come on, right? Come on. I think people are going to be okay with that. I think they're going to, whether they're okay with it or not, they're going to live with it. No one's not going to go to a concert. No one's not going to go to a theme park. And no one's not going to go skiing if you want to go skiing because they're goosing you for an extra 10, 15, 20%. You're just going to do it right now. This is like a very, very, I would say almost an anomaly of a window when you can do whatever you want as the provider here. And you can really goose the public when it comes to these sorts of things. And I have a feeling a lot of these companies are going to do it, and they're going to make up their revenue. They're going to get it. So, like, I'm okay being in fun right now, I don't think I have any Six Flags. I'll have to take a closer look at it to see which one I actually do like
Yeah,
more.
but I mean, so when I'm just thinking about it from just what people have been conditioned to over the past year and a half, and we talk about the lift lines, things that I wouldn't be comfortable in with these. Look, I mean, going to a Cedar Fair, going to a Six Flags is not a socially distant type scenario, right? I mean, you are packed in lines, you're waiting around, and these lines, it's not just like you're in a straight line. I mean, you are winding in and out, and a lot of these lines are covered in closed, like enclosures. It just seems like a really dangerous place. And some people are comfortable with that. Some people have been vaccinated. But I mean, look, kids won't have been vaccinated because you can't even get the vaccine if you're under, I don't remember if it's 18 or 16. It's probably vaccine dependent. But I mean, this is a real issue in my mind.
Well, Jordan, you're right. And I think that's the reason why these companies aren't flying 10, 15, 20% over their historical highs, like companies like Cake are, right? And because there's still like, we don't know when it's going to get a lot better. But I think if you were to build a timeline for yourself, Jordan, and you already kind of did earlier in the show, don't you kind of think come July?
No, I mean, so like, right, general availability for these vaccines is going to be in May, is kind of what we're led to believe by certain people in government. But the problem is, again, that when you're under 18, when you're under 16, you can't get this thing, right? And so while there are a lot of young adults that are going to want to go to Cedar Fair, they'll want to go to Six Flags, they're vaccinated, they're fine. But then, you know, the young family that's got, you know, 10, 12, 15-year-old kids, I don't know, they're probably a pretty significant portion of that, of the revenue.
How many of them care?
Like, are they going to want to pile in and wait in lines and have their unvaccinated kids around a bunch of other unvaccinated kids?
Well, I'll look back at summer 2020 and just say this, Jordan. In the peak of the pandemic, not necessarily peak because we were coming off of our highs last summer, there were no issues filling up summer camps in Texas, right? With no vaccine, no nothing. So I think the majority of people, when it comes to kids right now, I think for the most part, we are at a point with the data where people are like, I'm going to roll the dice with my kids because they've been in their house for a year, unless their kid is at extremely high risk. My kids are, have some risk factors, but even us, we're putting our kids back in school. But unless they're extremely high risk, I think most people, not all, but most are probably, after a year of staying at home, are probably going to roll the dice with their kids and do some of this stuff. There will always be exceptions.
Or maybe they'll just go rent a beach house, or they'll rent something. So is Airbnb a better play on this, right? Because then people can go and they can have their vacation, but they're, just still a little bit mildly standoffish.
I think even if 30% of people are mildly standoffish, the 70% who are like crazy eager to get back out and do theme parks and concerts will be at overcapacity for every theme park in the country all of July and August and September. So like, I think you're probably right. But even with that, there will be excess demand for every theme park in the country, even with that, assuming that they do open up and are legally allowed to open up in July. And I think that is still the big question mark. Is, California just announced they have a tiered system starting at 15%, then 25%, and 35%. But it's only March, guys. We have April, May, June. Don't you think in like 90 days from now, as long as everything starts moving in the right direction, they're going to be at like, by the way, that's a very important part of their tax base, right? California.
It's a big part of their tax base, but we know that they've been pretty conservative on opening things up, right? I mean, Disney hasn't been able to operate in like a year, right?
Yes.
When the numbers if the numbers start to spike again, are they just going to shut the thing back down again?
That's the risk. And by the way, if anyone, like for all of us that are in on these big recovery trades, that is something that we can't like ignore. We have to keep an eye on, some type of, especially with the variations in the virus, right, Jordan? Like if they start to meaningfully start to impact the numbers with, like the South African strain, the European strain, like if some of these strains that we're finding in California and New York, even if those start to materialize, that's something we have to watch out for. But Jordan, if they don't,
Jordan, I am with you though. I think that Airbnb is a really strong player in this time, right? If you think about just, it is the one thing that you can do if you want to travel and still stay in your own bubble, right? You don't really want to go to a hotel even. If you're trying to stay in a bubble, Airbnb is the way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, and they're the pure play on it, right? I mean, because VRBO, I mean, you're getting a bunch of baggage along with that, right? But with Airbnb, that's straight up what they do. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So that's near the top of my list. Now, Chris, I know we've been talking way too long to not get to this new number one that you've basically put your entire net worth into.
No,
or something crazy.
Here's the thing.
I don't quite get your thesis as strongly as you do, but we have to talk about this.
I am not going to I'm super transparent about my portfolio and my investments. I want to say up front, I am not going to disclose in detail exactly how I'm trading this ticker, because I've been thinking about this a lot, guys, like especially on tickers that aren't extraordinarily liquid. I don't want anyone out there in the market to know how I'm in it, if I have derivatives, if I have options, what my expiration dates are, right? What my strike prices are. I don't want anyone to know that. And also, quite honestly, I've been sharing so much the last year, like with precision, what I'm in, that a lot of people have been I've had emails from people saying, well, you didn't tell me you got out, or like, why didn't you, I don't want that responsibility. Like, people are misusing and misinterpreting when I disclose something that now all of a sudden I owe it to not get out of that stock or that position until I
you
disclose.
Announce that you're out of it. Yeah.
That's not what this show is about.
No,
I have my own
We're not a
portfolio.
trading show. We're about ideas. We're about an exchange of thoughts and the way we think about investing. And this is an idea that might spur an idea for someone else to invest in some other company.
Well,
right?
we really feel that people should make their own investing decisions. Now, you can use us as part of your research to get ideas, and then you go and do your own research, and that should all be part of the process. But you should have your own conviction and your own reason for doing the trade if you want to do a trade.
Yeah, and I will say this, guys. I will disclose all of my research as I come across it, right? Like, I'll be on Discord. If I find something related to this trade that goes the opposite direction, I will disclose. That's what this community is all about. Researching, collaborating, poking holes in each other's thesis, just sharing as much as we can, and then everybody goes off and makes their own decisions, okay? So I want to get back to that. For people that are comfortable disclosing, please disclose. Like, I'll disclose at times because I think it's fun and I like to be transparent, but like, this is a pretty good sized trade and it's not high conviction for me. That's the interesting thing, guys. Yeah. It's not high conviction yet. Even though we're about to talk about it as our collectively, now with my big position, our number one recovery trade, it's not high conviction yet because I'm still waiting on data.
I'm not fully bought in yet. I want to hear what your thesis is, because I'm not convinced.
So I'll tell you what my thesis is. This trade is a medium conviction recovery trade combined with a medium conviction social arb trade. And when you cross the two together, you get a medium to high conviction, right? Because you have two shots at a medium conviction trade. So I've never had that happen before, but in my mind, I'm in medium to high conviction, and all I need is just more data to feel comfortable moving it to a high conviction trade. So here's the thing, guys. We've talked about this. We did a show on this stock already, and I've been tweeting about it, so it's not a huge surprise to everyone. It is Molson Coors. It's TAP.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I thought it was going to be Build-A-Bear. Weren't you?
That's another good one, though, Jordan.
I know.
Are you messing with me?
If you pay attention to the thumbnail in the background, it's a big party scene, right?
Are
you messing with Molson Coors do?
Wait, Jordan, did you really think it was going to be Build-A-Bear?
No, I just really loved it when you bought Build-A-Bear. I thought it was so great.
I killed it in Build-A-Bear, dude. What's it trading at right now? Is it still up?
I don't know.
I don't even remember the symbol, dude.
BBW. And it looks like it pulled off in that pullback, but no, it's doing just
killing
fine.
it, dude.
Still doing well.
I don't know if I still own it or not.
Kind of a recovery play on that too, right? Because if people start going to malls, your kid's like, bear, and then you just go and you build that bear.
Yeah, and let me just say something, guys. Like, I literally don't know if I own Build-A-Bear still, and that's part of the problem. I sell for a lot of different reasons, right? Like, I get margin called, or like, I'm not so comfortable being 80, 90% in margin, and I just need to start selling off stuff, and I'll just spend a few hours selling off stuff, and I don't want to feel guilty like, oh my gosh, I promised I would tell everyone if I sold any of that. By the way, everyone's been asking, I'm still in GIC, I'm still in, NGA, right? Like, I'm still in virtually all those stuff. LAC, I'm in virtually all of them.
Yeah. I can tell you that I have not made any trades except for I did buy some of this tap not long ago. So.
Me too.
I'm still in the gap.
Twice now.
I bought it because it dropped. You know, it went up to 54 and then it pulled back, and I'm like, well, I mean, I kind of understand the thesis, but.
Oh, Dave. Wait, do you have the drink in front of you? Because I didn't even bring mine.
Is that why you brought this over to my house?
Yes, dude,
because
we're supposed to try.
have.
Hold on, can you just wait for me, dude? I'm gonna get one. Hold on.
So while we're waiting for Chris to, I mean, this is real professional YouTube right here. No, he brought over the Zoa Healthy Warrior Energy drink that The Rock is pimping. Or I guess he invented it. So I have not tried it yet. This is a brand new can of Rock Energy that showed up at my house, and I may overdose on caffeine because I've already had my coffee this morning. But this drink looks like a health drink, not just an energy drink. So 100% of your vitamin C, D, B, antioxidants. It has immunity, 100% of your, what does it have? I basically already talked about those. A C from Camu.
Does it have ginkgo biloba? Isn't that a good one?
For focus, it has vitamin B6 and B12 plus choline, something, I don't know. For hydration, it has potassium and magnesium. For body, it has branched chain amino acids. BCA. And then for energy, it has caffeine from green tea extract, green coffee, plus vitamin B1 and B2. So is this supposed to be like a coffee replacement? Is this a daily, like, coffee has some healthy attributes. Is this something that I'm supposed to start drinking every morning?
Is it
because
carbonated?
I can tell you for one thing, I can't stand like Red Bull. Like,
no.
That seems like something that the only way it's tolerable is if you mix it with vodka, and then that seems like a terrible idea, right?
Okay,
so,
Dave.
Yes.
I think you're overthinking it. It's just an energy drink with a healthy marketing ploy associated to it.
But coffee is an energy drink too, in that way. So is this a replacement for my morning coffee, or is this something that I would drink? Is this something that you're now going to get a Zoa bomb at the casino?
Oh wait, before you.
Okay, Dave, do you drink energy drinks for breakfast? Because some people do. I mean, it's totally up to you. There's a lot of people that do.
I don't drink energy drinks ever.
Yeah, neither do I.
But this one seems like if I were going to drink one, at least from the marketing, it's healthier.
Okay. You know what I want you to do,
Does it taste like an energy drink, or does it taste like green tea? If it tastes like green tea, I might be in.
It's not going to. It's not. It's going to taste like an energy drink. It's going to taste exactly like Red Bull.
I also brought a glass so you guys can see what color this is, because I really don't even know. Do you?
Okay,
do you
Dave, what I want you to do is I want you to go to Costco, and you're going to see something that's going to blow your mind. Because Costco has, like, no joke. You know the center of Costco where they have all those aisles? They have, like, probably 5% of the center of their store is energy drinks now. They have an aisle that goes from one end to the other, and half of it is nothing but Red Bull and Monster, and the other half are brands like Celsius and all these other. I can't even believe how big the energy drink market has gotten over the past few years. Companies like Celsius, Celsius is like one of the healthier energy drink options. That's where the whole market is moving. They're just blowing up, and this is like right time, right place, right chief of marketing. In fact, I just texted you a picture, Dave. Can you show it on screen? This is what comes when you order a case. Dwayne Johnson is the chief energy officer, and it comes with a really nice little card. I love this for, direct to e-commerce companies that are starting off e-commerce, because obviously they're going to sell this drink everywhere. Walmart, pharmacies, C-stores, they're selling this drink everywhere. But right now, they want to build up kind of their fan base. And so they send this out and it's trying to get you to go on and leave a good review and share it. It's just really smart.
So you
product
bought
launch.
this online, and this was in the packaging. Was the rest of the packaging nice? This seems like a brand that would have like a custom designed shipping box.
No, Dave. No, it's an energy drink, right? So it came in a case, a 12-pack. It was just like any Red Bull would come, I would imagine. The cans, honestly, some people love them. I think it's a little dark and a little male.
I think it is a little cheaply produced because I can see the seam where they basically just shrink wrapped a wrap onto a metal can instead of printing it.
Is that cheaper?
Jordan? I'm guessing it is because why would you not?
A lot of the beer companies
go the
do that
normal
because
way.
it's cheaper, I think, because they can just buy a bunch of the sleeves and then just heat shrink.
Okay,
Jordan,
so I just
Jordan
tasted
apparently
it.
was not allowed to talk during that
we're
last
asking
segment. So
questions
Jordan,
and I
what do you
get
have to
shut
say?
down, but I think it's because I'm not with the earpiece, and so I don't know if you can hear me or not. So
Oh,
I
you
don't
Definitely
think
need to
it's
start
being
wearing your
real fan.
earpiece. Say it again now.
What's that?
What did you say?
I said I'm not wearing the earpiece, so a lot of like you guys can talk over each other, but my mic cuts because I'm not wearing an earpiece because I haven't bought the bullet earpiece that Dave sent me yet.
You really
need
need
to
to
do
get
that.
that one.
I need
All
to do
right.
that.
So
Sorry, what are you saying, Jordan? Go ahead. We'll give you the
I
mic.
was just wondering, what is the sugar content of this guy?
I will tell you.
Well,
It
they
is
have
a-
they have a
Ooh,
sugar-free
cheese.
version. They have a sugar-free
This
version.
is not the sugar-free version. This is 23 G's of total sugar, including 22 G's of added sugar. I can't drink this. That's like this will give you the diabetes immediately.
But how much
I'm just
sugar is in a
taking a
Red
sip.
Bull, Dave? Dave, in a 12-ounce can of Red Bull, there are 37 grams of sugar. And how many ounces is this, Dave? This is what, 16 ounces, right? Or 18 ounces? What is this? I want to say. By the way, it tastes pretty much exactly like a Red Bull with a little lighter to me.
It's so it's opaque. It is kind of like a wheat beer.
Stop,
It's
Dave.
lightly
It's not a
carbonated.
wheat.
No,
What?
you've got it. Oh God, it tastes. I mean, if it smells like it tastes, it's terrible.
Is it
Dave,
carbonated,
It
Dave?
tastes. No. Have you ever
It is
had a Red
slightly.
Bull?
It is lightly carbonated. Yes, there were some bubbles. It has
There's
a
not
slight
carbonated.
sweat
It's not carbonated. No, it's not.
It is
Dave just
slightly
doesn't drink
carbonated.
energy drinks. It is
It's
exactly
disgusting.
like a Red Bull, but a little lighter, and it has way less sugar because a Red Bull has 37 grams in a 12-ounce can. This has 22 grams in a 16-ounce can. Okay, so do the math.
I'm
Jordan,
a hard pass.
Did you ever try those powdered hangover recovery fizzy packets that you just put into water?
Like
I can't remember what they're called. They were
New?
from somewhere in Southeast Asia, I think. It tastes just like that, and it was basically it's a vitamin B like powder that you put into water. This does not taste good, Chris.
Dave,
So I might be
do
selling
you
my
think
tap.
any energy drink tastes good? Do you think Monster tastes good? Pull up a chart of Monster right now.
No,
Tell
Monster doesn't
me
taste good either.
what the best performing S&P 500 has been over the past 30 years. Can either of you guess? Over the last 30
no,
years.
I know.
Number
what
one.
is it?
Number one. in
No,
the
I
world.
do know this. I've
What is
seen this recently, and it was like shocking because it was
Okay,
like one of
Jordan,
those
do you know the
reports
number
about
one
the
best
S&P
performing
500.
S&P 500 company over the last 30 years?
Monster Energy.
Monster Energy. Do you drink Monster Energy, Jordan?
No.
Do you drink Monster Energy, Dave? No, you don't.
No,
You don't. That's why it's not about what we like. It's about what people like. Because you can't make investment decisions, as we've said this a million times, based on your own personal preferences. Because you might be a weirdo like one of us, and not do what billions of other people do, which is
I remember
just...
seeing this, Chris, when we were in the corporate environment for a little while. I would see people walk in with their like a huge Monster,
Yes.
and that's kind of how they got their day started. So I would drink coffee or tea, but they would drink them, and that's just what they preferred, right? And so people prefer these things.
Now, Chris, you've shopped for this. Does this come in a green tea flavor that doesn't have the terrible energy drink aftertaste?
It comes in a variety of flavors. I just got the regular Red Bull style original, the traditional energy drink flavor. It's like Coca-Cola of energy drinks. They all taste like that. And by the way, I've had a few of them. This one actually does taste really good. We have tried at my restaurant to replace Red Bull with other energy drinks, and a lot of the other random ones do not taste. They taste worse. Okay, not better. They taste worse. This one
You're
actually
telling me that
tastes,
this tastes really good to you?
and you're drinking it warm too, aren't you, Dave?
No, I had it refrigerated.
Oh yeah, yeah. So this, if you drink energy drinks, what I'm trying to explain to you is you develop a taste for that Red Bull Monster energy drink flavor, and it's an addictive. You're not going to get it.
The aftertaste does kind of taste like a casino smells.
But Dave, have you even dropped a
this is the
Jaeger
worst.
shot in it yet? Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
No,
You
but
put the
that's
Jaeger
probably the
in
only
it?
way to drink it. Should I break out my Tesla tequila and just
Well,
turn
thanks
this
to
into a
you,
cocktail?
Dave. Thanks to you, nobody will ever like call out this channel for just pure pumping a stock. You're doing everything you can.
I'm literally thinking maybe I should sell my stock because I don't really care for Coors Light, and now this, and now it's like what?
Well, Dave, like I said, have you ever had a Monster Energy? Never.
Yes, I'm sure I have because they get
And
substituted
did you like
for-
it? And did you become a Monster Energy consumer? No,
No.
you didn't.
I
And
have
that
had a
didn't
Monster
serve you
Energy
well.
once, and I will tell you exactly what it was. I was hanging out with our friend Terrence, and he had me drink a Monster Energy and Hendrix.
Oh, I mean, listen,
It's not a good combo.
That was my drink. Energy and alcohol was my drink for a long time. As you start to get older and have a hard time.
You had a real problem drinking the whenever you put Red Bull in your vodka, you just had a terrible night.
Dave, the whole world does that. It's like one of the number one selling drinks in the world is just energy drink and alcohol. That's it. Like that's what people drink now. It's a drug. It is what it is. Bottom line here, Molson Coors. Let's talk about the company again. Let's talk about what we've learned. Let's talk about this energy drink and the other things they have going on. I've been spending a lot of time researching Molson Coors the last few weeks. I'll just talk about this. They are the distributor for this energy drink. So they also own a small piece of this company with The Rock. So we don't know how much they own, but they've disclosed that Molson Coors has an investment. They own a small piece of this energy drink. This is going to be one of the most widely distributed new energy drinks that you've ever seen in the market because every single retailer wants to be involved with anything involved with The Rock because what
The
he
Rock
touches
is
turns
a
to gold.
monster. He's definitely a marketing machine. And if anyone can sell product, we saw what he did with his tequila brand. Became
he's
the
amazing.
biggest launch of a new, not just tequila, I think any spirit ever. So yeah, he's a definite
So Dave,
benefit. I can't even drink this anymore.
An energy drink is not going to
Sorry,
take
Rock.
over Red Bull or Monster overnight. But that said, Monster is what, a $45 billion company. Molson Coors is an $8 or $9 billion company with everything that they do, with all the history and the 100 and some odd year history of Coors. And
we've talked
Miller.
about how they have had a really rough time. If you look going all the way back to 2016, this is not a stock that has done well.
It's not, and that's for a lot of good reasons. It's because they were very late innovating, very late getting on the train for hard seltzers, right? So like they got killed, and they were basically reliant on two mass market brands, and people are not consuming those brands, or at least they haven't been the past 5 years at the same rate they were. Coors, Coors Light, Miller Lite. So that was their problem. They have new management in. The management's in for a couple years now. They've made significant investments. They have changed the face of the company. They're no longer a beer company. They're a beverage company. They're making huge investments, some of the largest I've seen in this space, in canning for hard seltzers. They have what is very likely to be the most diverse line of hard seltzers that you will see out of any company this next year. They not only have their Vizzy, which is their number one lead brand in hard seltzer, which if you do the homework, you'll realize that a lot of people prefer Vizzy over Truly and over White Claw, okay? The two incumbents that have 80% of the market. They also have Coors hard seltzer, okay? Which sounds terrible, but let me tell you, the reviews are pretty good on that as well. They're selling a ton of them since they came out with it late last year. Vizzy and Coors Hard Seltzer have not been around very long. Both of them have done pretty darn well.
Can we get to the one that makes me excited and the one that I actually invested? The Rock, yeah, marketing, they'll sell this stuff, right?
But they're the
one that I'm
distributor
excited
for that,
about-
Dave, right? They're the distributor, so you have to be out. So like they're not
Yes.
going to make as much as they would if they owned this energy drink. They're the distributor for it. They do own a piece of the company, but I don't think that stuff matters so much in here because people have been talking about this. Well, they're only the distributor. So yeah, they're the distributor. They're going to make money on every single can that gets sold. Not as much money as they would make if it's their own brand, but by the time this energy drink becomes successful, if it does become successful, and I believe it will with The Rock behind it, I don't think it's going to matter at that point how much money they're making per can because the market is going to bid up Molson Coors based on the success of them having the exclusive distributorship in North America or the U.S. So you're excited, Dave, about the one of two additional hard seltzer brands are coming out with. And I think you're going to be even more excited about the one I'm going to tell you about that you don't know about yet. But go ahead, talk about the one they are coming out with this summer. They actually already have it in Brazil and Mexico.
I already put it on the screen. It's Topo Chico. It's a beloved brand. It is a brand that has just taken off out of nowhere. Whoever thought that we'd be importing Mexican water and drinking it? But it is like it's become a thing, and I don't know why, but it has become a thing. And the can design for the Topo hard seltzer looks amazing, and it's probably going to be what I stock my fridge with for the summer, right?
Yeah, I mean, I could probably get away with just stocking those, and everybody thinks that I'm just drinking a Topo Chico water, but I'm not. I'm drinking a Topo Chico seltzer. But here's
Sneaky.
the thing. So they don't own the Topo Chico brand, right? That's Coca-Cola.
That's right.
And they're not actually doing the manufacturing of this. They're just doing the distributing. Is that correct, Chris?
So yes, I'm going to assume that because it's Coca-Cola, that Coke is going to do all the manufacturing. And here's what's really interesting. People are probably thinking, why is Coke distributing this through Molson Coors? Literally nobody has a stronger distribution arm than Coke. Well, if you start to do the research, you'll realize that the laws and the regulations and everything involved with distributing liquor and alcohol and beer is so complex and is a state-by-state thing that Coke can't distribute it. So here's what's really amazing, guys. Did you know that Topo Chico Hard Seltzer will be the first alcoholic drink that Coca-Cola makes? Now, where does that take us? Let's think about that for a minute. If that becomes a big success, who have they chosen as their distribution partner? Little old Molson Coors, $8 or $9 billion company, right? Could there be a possible larger partnership down the road with Coke making numerous alcoholic drinks, all being distributed by Molson Coors? I mean, theoretically down the road, maybe even acquiring a company like Molson Coors. So there's all kinds of interesting things here when you start doing the homework and realize, wait, their first alcoholic drink, and they chose Molson Coors as their distributor. And by the way, this is a slam dunk, guys. That said, the reviews coming out of Brazil, I've been translating reviews that I've been able to find on the internet of Topo Chico Seltzer, right, into a readable format. And so far, they're not great. They're not great. It makes me a little bit nervous, I have to say. Full disclosure. And I don't know if they're not great because maybe people in Brazil and the certain areas of Mexico where they're testing this aren't used or accustomed to drinking a hard seltzer because it's not really a drink that they are accustomed to in that area.
Yeah, if you haven't had a White Claw before and this is your first foray into it, you may be like, well, why would anyone want that?
Yes. But so you have Topo Chico. Here's what we do know, Dave. We do know that the second Topo Chico hard seltzer hits those shelves, and it's not just the hard seltzer. They're also coming out with, guess what? Topo Chico Ranch Water. Okay? Topo Chico Ranch Water, which mind-blowing. If you don't know what ranch water is, it's like one of the hottest drinks in Texas. It's basically tequila, lime, and bubbly water. Okay? So Topo Chico. And people used to make ranch water. The most common ranch water in the state was Topo Chico seltzer combined with some tequila and some lime. That every bar in the state's been serving that for the last 2 years, and it's like the #1 hottest drink down here. So they're coming out with Topo Chico Ranch Water in a can. That could be huge, epically huge, right? So Diageo just bought this week that ranch water brand that was made by that girl who's friends with our old friend Anna. What a small world that is. That just happened like this week. Ranch water is hot. It's going to get hotter. Topo Chico will have the #1 brand in ranch water. That is a fact.
That was the Far West Spirits. They're a Texas company. They made Lone River Ranch Water.
Is that her brand? Yeah, this girl's brand. Like, unbelievable. What a success. Like, she's friends with Anna. So, by the way, I wanted to invest in that company, and Anna blew me off. She's like, oh, she's got all the money she needs. She's not going to let you invest. I was like, thanks a lot, Anna.
They apparently launched the business in 2019, and the product hit the market in May, and now Diageo bought them.
Unbelievable, okay? I'm so pissed off that Anna did not tell me about that, and all of us, and get us in to invest. For everything we've done for her. Oh.
No, but I'm trying to... Is Topo Chico Ranch Water, like when I Google that, all I find is recipes for it. Is that something they're actually coming out with in a can?
Yes, they're scheduled to come out with that shortly after they release the Topo Chico hard seltzer line, okay? But here's what's really interesting, Dave. On top of the 2 lines that they already have, right? And by the way, I bought them downstairs. They're good as well. And then Topo Chico hard seltzer. They're also coming out with a premium hard seltzer that instead of just putting generic alcohol in, you can get it with tequila, rum, vodka. So it's like a hard seltzer with actual real alcohol, like whatever alcohol you want in it. So which is very different from all the other hard seltzers out there right now that just have like this generic malt beverage alcohol, right? Yeah. I think that could be a really interesting lineup for the high end. So Molson Coors is basically saying, hey, we are taking a risk here. We are going all in on hard seltzer. They have added capacity to their big manufacturing facilities to produce the slimline cans that you make hard seltzer in. They're able now to do 4x the capacity they were doing just a few months ago. These are investments that they've made over the past 2 years preparing for this day. So a lot of work, a lot of strategic planning, a lot of corporate dev has gone into this moment in time. And if on top of all that, they have a whole division that's doing nothing but kind of experimental beverages. They have a coffee drink that they're coming out with. They have an investment in and a partnership with, I believe they own 60% of the company. We talked about them during our last episode, Molson Coors episode, out of Canada that makes cannabis beverages, okay? And that company is actually publicly traded that owns the other 40% it's Hexo is the ticker, HEXO. I own a little bit of Hexo as well. But they own, what's the name of that company, Dave? It should be on the page there that does the cannabis drinks out of Canada. So they have 4 of the top 5 SKUs of cannabis drink in Canada, and they've only been out for a few months. They just expanded to Colorado. I think they are set up to basically be the #1 top producing cannabis beverage maker right now at Molson Coors, all right, with that partnership. So really interesting things happening. This is not the Molson Coors of 2 years ago. And I think the market is kind of taking a we'll wait and see attitude with Molson Coors. Like, you guys have been pooping for so long. We know you've been saying all this stuff for years that you're going to change. You have all these big plans. And now it's happening, but we're going to wait to see if you can actually execute. So I am willing, as a social arb investor, to dive in deep, to do the research, to read the reviews on all these various products, which are killing it so far. And if they continue to do well once they're fully released, right? Because, listen, this energy drink, Dave, there's probably a few thousand of us that ordered it direct the last few days. There's barely any reviews out there to read. There's barely any reviews in Mexico.
Even in our chat, people are saying that this original flavor is the worst. That they have like a berry flavor and things that are better. So,
Dave, it's not the.
I'm not ordering. I'm not going to drink
Dave,
energy drinks.
if you drink energy drinks and tens of millions of people drink them, it is literally the equal or better. I'm telling you, I drink them, and I'm telling you, what people are saying that have had that, including myself, if you have a Red Bull and a Monster, they're all virtually exactly the same in terms of the standard energy drink formula. This one's a little bit lighter, and I'm drinking it warm. I even had it cold.
Look, I agree with Chris. I mean, like, you get people drink them. We get The Rock marketing it. They're going to get some sales, right? I don't see there's any issue there.
Yeah, I'm a stockholder. I'm just not going to be buying any more of the actual beverage.
Just
by
the
the way,
Zoll. You will buy.
just so you know.
You will buy the Topo Chico though.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
so we've talked only about the social arb side of the trade. What we haven't talked about is the recovery side of the trade. And so if we think about Molson Coors, by the way, Blue Moon is a big brand of theirs. Blue Moon Sky or whatever is their new Light Sky is their light version of Blue Moon, which is like one of the hottest canned beers of 2020. I think it might have been like the number one new beer release of last year. It's super hot. But guys, a lot of the Molson Coors revenue is still stuck to Coors Light and Miller. And also a lot of these brands that they own across Europe that are all on-premise beers that they sell throughout Europe. So Europe has been completely shut down, as we know. The on-premise traffic has gone down to virtually zero there. I think 15% of Molson Coors revenue comes from on-premise, but it's disproportionately weighted to Europe. So with Europe being completely shut down, that's killed their on-premise. A lot of the on-premise here in the US, obviously it's a lot of dive bars and stuff that sell a lot of Coors Light and Miller Lite, but it's also, guys, stadiums and concerts, right? Like, what do you drink I know, Jordan, you don't really drink Coors Light, Miller Lite, but if you did,
No, but if you're at an outdoor concert, do you really even have a choice?
That's the thing, right? That's the only time that I would drink a Miller Lite is if you walk up at the concert and they're like, "Do you want a Miller Lite or do you want a Bud Light?" Right? And then that's all you got.
Yeah,
that's all you got. But how many concerts have you been?
They're going to sell more of those. I mean, the only thing is, some of the concert venues and some of the sports venues they're branching out, and they have little craft beers sections and things like that. But a lot of times they'll put Blue Moon in there, right? Blue Moon is a tap brand, so
yeah. And Blue Moon is a tap brand, Jordan, because Molson Coors is such a strong brand for those sales. They're already doing massive distribution to a lot of those venues. So it's really easy for them to offer up their... And by the way, Blue Moon is on fire. The Blue Moon Light Sky is just absolutely on fire. I don't know if you've had one. I haven't had one, but people love it. They sold the hell out of it last year, and that's going to be a huge brand for them this next year. But they had that tailwind of the reopening, and I really feel that for a company like Molson Coors, that's a pretty big deal for them. By the way, they did sell more Coors Light last year, I think, than they've ever sold before. So and that was because a lot of people going to the grocery store, right, and just buying beer for their home. So I would imagine that a lot of that kind of, I don't know how they classify those sales, kind of at retail. I think those sales might get hit a little bit of their Coors Light, Miller Lite product this year. The on-premise sales should surge the last half of this year. They have a lot of these hot brands. Light Sky is going to kill it.
So guess what else they have? They have an iced coffee blonde.
Yeah, so that's the other experimental kind of extension innovation brand. They have like an innovation division where they're doing these partnerships with other companies that they're taking in some cases a pretty big stake in, some cases a very small stake in.
A Blue Moon brand, it's supposed to be like a craft type brand. You got to trick it up.
Yes. So I like it. I like the stock. I like the stock. I don't like
the Rock's beverage, but I like the Rock as a brand, and this is I'm in on tap.
I do not drink caffeine, as you know, so I will not be drinking any energy drinks, including this one here, Zoa. But that doesn't mean I won't invest in what other people drink. I think this company has a lot of things going on. I'm still waiting, Dave. I'm still waiting on this energy drink, and I'm waiting on Vizzy. I want to see if Vizzy, which is their marquee brand right now in hard seltzer, I want to see if Vizzy can wedge in there and kind of help them get to that double digits percentage of the hard seltzer market. Right now, they're at 4%. They were at 2% a year ago. They went from 2 to 4%. They think that they could be at 10% plus by the end of 2021. I want to make sure that Vizzy's getting good looks and good distribution placements at C-stores and grocery. I went to Tom Thumb, did a channel check myself this week, and kind of Vizzy is kind of like smashed between the Truly and the White Claw, right? So they have less shelf space, but they do have a really interesting, nice-looking product. And I think the one thing about these hard seltzers that I've been noticing from people reviewing and discussing it on social media is they go with the one that they like, right? So they everyone likes to taste them all, and then they all kind of like having a preference. People are like, I'm a Vizzy person, I'm a White Claw, or I'm a this, or I'm a that. Like, everyone kind of likes to have their own, yeah, that's the best. Trust me, you need to try this one. It's way better than the one you're drinking, right? Like, that's a lot of the dialogue that I'm seeing, and that leads me to believe that because this is a new market segment, unlike beer, people are really experimental. Like, oh, there's a new one. Let me try that one. Like, I've been drinking White Claw. Does anybody really super love White Claw or super love Truly that they're like, I'm never going to have anything but White Claw? No, does anyone feel that way about White Claw or Truly? I'm not seeing it from like the reviews.
I think a lot of people really love White Claw and Truly. I think
No,
there's
no,
a huge,
but Dave,
huge
taste
segment
profile. No, Dave.
Yeah,
from
they
a
really
taste
like the way
profile.
it tastes. They choose that over anything else they could drink.
They choose it over a beer or something else. What I'm saying is within the hard seltzer game, I don't think people are like, that's the only hard seltzer I'm drinking. They try different ones. They figure out which one they like. But it seems to me, and this is from me doing nothing but just reading social media on people, they have lists. People like will list out their top 10 hard seltzers. And they will list out, this is my number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That tells me that people are open to experimentation in this drink category. Where 5 years from now, I don't think they will be. I think it'll be at a point where they're going to all have their favorite. The market's going to be split between Truly, White Claw, hopefully Vizzy, and a few others, right? But right now, I think we're still early enough that we get experimentation. If they get good distribution and they have a good product that tastes good, and here's the key catch. There are a lot of people that do prefer Vizzy over the Truly and the White Claw. Some people prefer White Claw, some people prefer Truly, some people prefer the Bud Light seltzer. Like, it's really fascinating. It's not like everybody likes this one and not those. If you like start to read the social media, it's really split. And Vizzy in those rankings is usually coming up in the top few, which tells me they have a winning product that if they can get it on the shelves and get people to trial it, they'll come back for more. Why, Dave? Because Vizzy has a health stance to it. Vizzy has this whole, we're the healthy hard seltzer. We have vitamin C, we have this other stuff in it. Like, do I believe that? I don't believe it's healthy, but you know how easy it is, right?
I mean,
for
you
people to
put
trick
vitamin C and antioxidant on the label, and you're going to sell some cans.
People feel a little bit better about the purchase, right?
And
if you're
some new
going to a
creative
music
flavors
festival,
that you can't get other places. They're doing the mashup flavors. Instead of just getting lime, you get lime and strawberry or something. So yeah, totally. I get it.
All right, Dave, put yourself into the 22-year-old female version of Dave Hansen going to music festivals. Would you drink that can of Vizzy? Look at that. Isn't that... Don't you see yourself drinking that?
No, absolutely.
Right?
I can't wait to get back to music festivals. With
You do
20-year-old
go
girls.
to music festivals.
I know, I do. All right, we should really wrap this one up because there's a lot of stuff that I have to do today.
I know. We have a big episode we're getting ready for Thursday, and a lot of this is on Dave. So, Dave, I know you have a lot of stuff to do. Guys, don't miss Thursday. I promise you, you do not want to miss Thursday's episode. You do not want to miss Friday's episode, and one that we're going to have next week, potentially. So,
hang on. Someone just said 22-year-old female Dave is kind of hot. You know, there's a filter that I thought the same thing. That's it. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that. If you haven't hit the bell, set that to all because you really definitely need to know when we're going to be on. You never know when that's going to be, but you do know that we're going to be on Thursday, same time, same channel, right here on Dumb Money Live. Is that it? That's all.
Yeah.
Sorry we couldn't get the comments today, guys. Sorry, we'll get the comments on Thursday for sure.
Oh, wait. There was one that I definitely need to ask because it was coming up. Jordan, did you buy Tap?
Yeah. I bought some.
Oh, so I should say I did buy a lot of Tap. Even though it's not high conviction, I have a lot of Tap. I will disclose how much at some point. I just don't want to I don't want to go there right this second. I want to go into how I did it. But I do
Very interesting.
have a lot of Tap.
That's intriguing. Now I want to know more than ever how you did it. So
We'll talk about it in the future. I
because
promise.
I'm sure at some point you're going to spill it.
I'm nervous, Dave. It's a big trade for me. I'm a little. I'm not nervous, but when I get in a big trade, I never have crazy. I'm always devil advocating my own trades. I'm always nervous that I missed something, right? So every day I'm checking all the reviews. Guys, please collaborate with me in the Discord. Let me know if something negative is happening to Molson Coors or one of their brands, or the reopening in Europe is starting to turn the opposite direction. That would be a big negative for Molson Coors, by the way. If Europe started to close down again, that's a negative. Or if any major territory started to close down, that's a major negative for Molson Coors. And one that would cause me to instantly get out of a big part of that position I'm in. So
that's what I'll be watching for as well. And I'll be waiting for your text, Chris.
Okay.
That's going to do it for us. Thanks so much for watching. It is time for us to tap out. We are Dumb Money. We will see you on Thursday.